Let's get right into the video, shall we? Story 1. The Caller. There was this one time when I was younger. I remember my dad would always tell me, don't answer the phone if we're not expecting a call. But of course, when you're young, you don't really listen to your parents. And there was this one time where I was homesick from school, and I heard the phone ring. Since nobody else was home at the time, I decided to answer it. I picked up the phone, and on the other end, I heard what sounded like a woman crying. She sounded really sad and kept repeating, "Is my baby there?" I could hear sniffles, and then she asked again, "Is my baby there?" I responded, No, I'm sorry, but may I ask who's calling?" After a brief pause, she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have dialed the wrong number." Then she hung up. At first, I thought nothing of it. Maybe it was just some woman who had dialed the wrong number. But then I started to feel a little uneasy. Why did she sound so sad? Why did she keep asking about a baby? And why did she hang up so abruptly? I tried to shake off the feeling and went back to watching TV. But then the phone rang again. It was the same number that called before. I hesitated for a moment, but then decided to answer it. "Hello," I said cautiously. On the other end, there was silence. Then I heard a voice. It was the same woman from before, but now her tone was different. It was cold and menacing. "Where is my baby?" she asked. Her voice sent shivers down my spine. I tried to scream, but my voice wouldn't come out. My heart was pounding in my chest. I wanted to hang up, but my hand was shaking so much that I couldn't dial the number. The line went dead. I raced to my parents' room and burst through the door. They were both fast asleep. I shook them both, screaming, "Mom, Dad, the phone, that lady, she wants my baby." My parents looked at me, confused and scared. We all listened to the phone ring over and over again. But when we finally got it, the line was dead. My parents and I looked at each other, our faces pale with fear. We never answered that phone call again. Even now, years later, I can still hear the echo of that woman's voice in my nightmares. And sometimes, when I'm alone in the dark, I swear I can hear the phone ringing. If you ever receive a call from an unknown number, and the person on the other end asks for your baby, whatever you do, don't answer. Just hang up. Story 2. Basement Dweller. When I was in high school, I used to babysit for this family in my neighborhood. They had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, who were around 6 and 8 at the time. One night I was watching the kids while their parents went out for dinner. It was a normal night until the power went out and left us in total darkness. I tried to calm them down, telling them that it was just a small power outage and that their parents were on their way back home. But they were scared, so I decided to get them some water. When I filled up their cups, I noticed something strange. Their basement windows were covered with what looked like black tarps. Curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to take a peek downstairs. I slowly descended the creaky stairs, each step making me more nervous than the last. As I reached the bottom, I felt a sudden chill run down my spine. The air in the basement was thick and heavy, and I could hear strange noises coming from behind the tarp. I cautiously approached the windows and gently pulled back the edge of the tarp. What I saw made my blood run cold. Behind each window was a dark, gaping hole. But it wasn't the absence of light that scared me. It was what I saw in those holes. Peering back at me were what looked like countless eyes, gleaming with an eerie, otherworldly glow. I stumbled back in horror, tripping over my own feet and racing up the stairs. I locked myself in the bathroom with the children and waited for their parents to return. I told them what I'd seen, but they just laughed it off, assuming that I'd been spooked by the power outage. But I knew what I'd seen, and even to this day, I couldn't help but wonder what those eyes belonged to and what they would have done if I hadn't bolted. Story 3. The Playground. Growing up, I used to spend most of my time at the local park near my house. There were swings, slides, and a monkey bar jungle gym that I loved to climb. But there was one part of the playground that I was always too afraid to go near, the old merry-go-round. It had been there for as long as I could remember, but nobody ever rode it. The paint on the horses was chipped and faded, and the metal frame was rusting. I didn't know anyone who would ever dare to go near it. other kids and I would always stay far away from the merry-go-round, and I never understood why. However, one afternoon, when I was around 12, I decided to confront my fear. I walked up to the merry-go-round and sat on one of the horses. It creaked ominously, and I felt a sudden sense of dread wash over me. But I pushed down on the lever, determined to conquer my fear. But just as I began to gain momentum, I heard a voice. It was a raspy, distorted whisper. It seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Stop. Don't ride the carousel." I froze, my blood turning to ice. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out of my mouth. Then the voice whispered again, this time closer and more menacing. "Don't ride the carousel." "You don't want to ride the carousel?" I didn't know what was happening. Was I going crazy? Was this some sort of hallucination? But then I saw it. In the corner of my eye, I saw a figure standing at the edge of the playground, and it was beckoning to me, its finger pressed against its lips. I tried to call out to it, but my voice failed me. And as the figure slowly began to approach me, I ran away. I ran as fast as I could, my heart pounding in my chest. I didn't stop running until I reached my house. Safe inside my room, I looked back at the playground, my fear turning to confusion and anger. Who was that mysterious figure? Why did they want me to stop riding the carousel? I still have these questions to this day. And sometimes when I pass by the playground, I can still hear the echo of that raspy voice whispering to me, "Don't ride the carousel. Don't ride the carousel." And the image of that creepy figure standing at the edge of the playground still haunts my dreams. Well, there you have it. 3 terrifying tales that are sure to keep you up at night. Which story scared you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more scary stories, check out my other videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, sleep tight and don't let the bed bugs bite.